chairman of the board of the trustees of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Wike slammed those calling for the PDP presidential ticket to be zoned to the north. Now, joining us to discuss this is Shugbaye Eli, a legal practitioner, and Darlington Orji, former publicity secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State. Many thanks, gentlemen, for joining us this time around. All right, let me start with you, Darlington. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. I can hear you very clear.
All right, fine. The governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, I'm sure you are aware of the statement that is accredited to him. He is saying that he is the best candidate, to run, for the presidency in 2023. He is a member of your party. Being a full-flagged member of the PDP, would you say Nyesom Wike has all it takes to be the next governor of Nigeria come next year?
Thank you. Good evening for giving me the privilege of expressing my view, and I think the majority view of our people. I can confirm to you today that from the stories we are hearing from the vineyard, the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, is the most qualified person in PDP as of today. The reasons are very simple. For you to be the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, taking into consideration of the crises that are in different political zones in Nigeria, you need one, a man with energy that is energetic enough to have the courage and the courage to take political decisions across line, irrespective of whose fault it goes. Again, Rivers State is like a mini Nigeria where boundary neighbors do not hear each other. Yet, this is a man that met Rivers State in a war zone or a war situation and has been able to reduce crime and criminality to its barest minimum. At least, before, if you turn your radio or television, you hear one bus, two buses being kidnapped in Rivers State. A man that stood firm to fight. Another landmark achievement is this palm fire. If you understand what I mean by palm fire, this illegal refining of crude that is going on. That war is more than the fight against Boko Haram, because this is fighting us, killing even those that is carrying it out. And this is a political season. Yet a man has the courage to say, I will go after this cartel man to make sure that he will save the life of our people. Now, if you look at his developmental stride, the way he has carried himself since 29th of May 2015, and checking or assessing him as a minister, what he did in terms of the emergency schools, encouraging our people, because we understood that most people that carry out these dastardly acts is because they were not properly informed. And when a man is informed, he can take a proper decision. And he achieved that. If you also understand that he was a former local government chairman in this state and won all the awards you can think of.
All right.
As a chief of staff to the then former governor of Rivers State, the brain boss behind the electoral achievement that was gotten by the last administration. And in this tenure, he has reformed and changed Rivers State to a construction house. A man that has such quality, a man that has such courage, a man that has such capacity to take decisions across political lines is the type of person we need now. We do not need Nigeria don't need a big name that cannot bring food to our table. We need people that have a mind to take the decision. And one of the achievements Wike is having is because this is a man that gives us job and go to the site himself. Nigeria do not need a president. Nigeria do not need a president that will sit in their sorrow alone. Nigeria needs a president that will go out and get information himself.
All right, Darlington, we'll still come back to you in as much as, all that you have said is still debatable. We still need to get the average Rivers Indigene to actually, talk more about the state of affairs in Rivers. But let us bring Shugbaye Eli into this conversation. Now, thanks for joining us, Shugbaye.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm sure you have been following the conversation. The spokesperson of the PDP in Rivers State seems to believe with the former spokesperson, rather, of the PDP in Rivers State, seems to believe that the president, Governor Nyesom Wike, has all that it takes, to govern this country come 2023. Do you agree? That's on the one hand. And secondly, what qualities do you think the next president of Nigeria should have?
Quickly, Nyesom Wike, as a Nigerian under Nigerian law and the Constitution, is qualified by his age and education to run for president. However, he does not have the temperament and the requisite exposure to lead the nation as diverse as Nigeria. We're not talking about a town hall meeting here. We're not talking about some ethnic leadership here. We're talking about a Nigerian that has the right temperament, the body language, and exposure to lead the nation like Nigeria. He does not have it. And for Nigeria, what do we need for a president right now? We need a Nigerian president that is sellable across the nation. A Nigerian president whose name does not ring a bell for controversial reasons. We don't want the propagandists. With respect to my brother on the other side, Nyesom Wike sold himself the power to Rivers people by propaganda. He used all sorts of means to demonize his principal and his boss, Ruth Amechi, to get into the heart of Jonathan and then got to that government house. That is not possible now. He has come back again to the same strategy to demonize Amechi with all sorts of stories. It has taken him 7 years, 7 whole years, to come up with all this drama you've seen in the last 1 or 2 weeks. It's from aircrafts being discovered and rediscovered and then rediscovered again in Germany. So all sorts of stories about that shit and all sorts. We are familiar with this terrain, we're familiar. Nigerians don't want that kind of temperamental character. We want a stable, calm-headed, progressive-minded, and deliverable president. A president that is not biased. Come to Rivers State and see what goes on here. This governor spends 8% of his time working for his people. And he throws in your face and tells others, that's what the kind of Nigerian president wants. We want a pan-Nigerian. We want a Nigerian who has the vision and the drive and the exposure, I keep emphasizing, the exposure to lead this country. We don't want an ethnic champion. We don't want a man who is vindictive and who will demonize others without evidence.
Eli, let me just butt in very quickly before I get Darlington to respond to some of these points that you have made. You talked about exposure, but the governor of Rivers State seems to believe that he has some very wonderful, kind track record. According to him, that he has been a governor and he has also been a minister. With all of that, he has the pedigree, to run for the presidency in 2023.
As minister, he was a colossal failure. Do you forget? As Minister of State, when for political reasons, President Jonathan suspended and moved Professor Rukaya to Ahmed, who was his principal, he took over as supervising minister for the ministry. As he went on strike for 1 full year, couldn't resolve it until Jonathan appointed Ibrahim Shekau from Kano State. The next day, he resolved the crisis and students were back to school. He couldn't manage the crisis. In terms of about the Nigerian schools, where do you find them in the country? Where do you find them anywhere in the north? They're all audio schools. But I've seen him here as governor of Rivers State. He has not paid one bus in 1 day. Not one scholarship was awarded in day. In fact, we drew Rivers students who are abroad for foreign studies back here and told stories about they were there studying philosophy and history. He did class 1 admission letter that showed that. He has not done that. Look at the health sector here, it's comatose. He had the Commission Mother and Child Hospital over a year ago. Artificial was the first patient that's been there. That's the hospital that Amechi built. He only went there to complete. There are several hospitals that Amechi started all over the place. He has not been able to activate one. In terms of infrastructure, I'm talking about building how many flyovers in the city of Port Harcourt alone. Has it broken the traffic deadlock? No. We're having gridlock all over the place. So we're talking about, and here's a man who said he has a New Rivers vision. Ask him to bring his New Rivers vision and show us why he promised will build flyovers.
All right, so we'll let Darlington respond right now. Darlington, I'm sure that you have been following. Specifically, I want you to respond to issues that Eli has raised. He mentioned temperament. That's the governor of Rivers State that seems to have issues with that. He talked about how he sold propaganda to the people during his campaign. And he said that Nigeria actually needs somebody who is stable and calm-headed. Darlington.
Unfortunately, even Eli himself knows that he's speaking from bad faith. First of all, he talked about exposure. I don't know who will be more exposed than a man that has grown through the ranks, who was a local government chairman for 2 terms, who was the chief of staff to the former state governor, who was a minister, according to him, a junior minister in the last administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is a 2-term governor. I do not understand what he meant by exposure. Could it be that all these things does not go with wealth of experience and all of that? Let him check the records. As a local government chairman, Governor Wike was outstanding that earned him the chairman of Argon. Now he talked about propaganda. I don't know how the propaganda was sustained if former President Goodluck Jonathan was there in 2015. I do not understand whether he was still there in 2019 to make sure that he protects him. These are cries that we understand that the season has come again for them to continue to cry. But having said that, now he talked about the discovering of the aircraft in Germany. The question is the aircraft parked in Germany? Who took it to Germany? The former chief of staff who was managing the aircraft, has he made a statement? If yes, in what line did he make a statement? So, and again, you will know that the day Governor Wike went there to see the aircraft does not mean that was the day it was discovered. He said he has already established, when they got a tip up, they've already established a relationship with the company. And perhaps that was the day they had a final date to meet, and that money has been transacted based on what the information or the bills they are supposed to pay as regards to mortgage and all of that. Now, you cannot talk about, can Eli deny the fact that Wike as a governor, under 2 years, has flagged up, completed some of the flyovers in Port Harcourt? Can he say that the road linking Port Harcourt through Obirikwere, that was the death trap and kidnap day in Port Harcourt before that it has been fixed? Can he say that the Trans-Calabari road is fixed up to 80%? Can he say that the road, has been fixed?
All right, Darlington.
Can he say that the internal road in GMA has been fixed? Can he say that the Unity road in Okreka?
Of course, we'll get him to respond to all of those issues that you've made.
The truth of the matter is that Nelson Wike is qualified.
All right, thank you, Darlington. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. By 2023, just next year, and Nigerians would actually, have the right and, of course, the freedom to choose whoever they want. But let's just round off now with Shugbe Eli. So right now, if we're talking about the president, if you're talking about the right candidate, to govern Nigeria, is it just about exposure? Shouldn't we be talking about issues and someone who the citizens can actually trust? In a minute, please. So we'll just round off. Eli.
We're talking about competence. We're talking about measurable, verifiable achievements in government. We're not talking about propaganda. This man comes and talks about Mr. Wike. The man ran on a propaganda stretch to become governor. Or it fails. Everything is just based in drama and propaganda every day. Now, if you pick a candidate like Rotimi Amechi as governor, our special candidate, have you seen what he has done with continuity in the railway sector? Have you seen what he has done with the airports, when he was supervising the airports? Have you seen what he's doing still now with the midst of scarce resources? Have you seen his Nigerian network? It's all about Wike being new government for 2 terms. For God's sake, how many has Amechi run as governor, as speaker, and as minister? We have seen tangible achievements. I don't think Nigeria whose temperament can. And you need to have if you like, we need to have somebody who is not only altruistic, but somebody who can break loose.
All right.
And cause it happen. This man has the temperament, he has the capacity, he has the exposure, he has a rich, first as governor forum chairman, he showed enough character, he's a nationalist to the core, he doesn't seem mounting any kind of thing, running down any part of the country, he's a nationalist. For
all right, thank you, Eli.
The Fulani man is an enemy, another is a friend. No. Nigerians want a president who can unite this country.
Sure we do.
Who can put this forward. And President Hamilton promises to be that president. He's young, he's energetic, and he's forward-looking.
All right, thank you, Eli, for your thoughts. We have been talking about 2023, who is, more qualified to govern the people, to drive the machinery of government next year. Is it the governor of Rivers State who says he is the best candidate, the ideal candidate, or is it other Nigerians who would be coming out over time? And we've had Darlington Orji join us, former publicity secretary of the PDP in Rivers State, and of course, Shugbaye Eli, a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All right, thank you for staying with us. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, I'll be giving you my take. And here is my take. The burden of preserving democracy lies with all stakeholders, both government and the citizens. On the part of the government, it must prioritize good governance and civil liberties of the citizens because these intrinsic elements reinforce the foundation of democracy. Governments must also be deliberate in building strong institutions in their countries. Strong institutions serve as buffers to internal and external threats to a country. And for who is most qualified to rule Nigeria? In my opinion, the person should be the one to decide, or the people rather, the Nigerians, that it should be the ones to decide that. With all the issues the country is going through, it wouldn't be too much if someone who truly understands the terrain, has the wishes of the people in mind, serves the country. The emphasis is on service. We don't need anyone who would come with I am in charge mentality to govern us, because at the end of the day, leadership is a core to serve. Above all, we can only get that if we handpick those they want, or the people pick those they want with themselves, and governance, and not necessarily some consensus arrangement and all the politics that come with it. My name is Justin. Academia Plus Politics returns next week, but we'll leave you with the highlights of the week. Thank you so much.
I think you also need to go back to Senator Olujumina and ask her how were those people from our local government excluded. We had what local government and state congresses in 2020. It's going to 2 years now. During the day we had World Congress, materials for Ekiti East and Benue local government were hijacked. So the two local governments were cancelled. Congress did not hold there. Normally, the Congress in local government ought to have been done after. But unfortunately, Oludimi and the people went to court. They went to court, they tied the hands of the party. The party could not conduct congresses in those two local governments. And up to now, the matter went from lower court, appeal court, is still at the Supreme Court. So you don't expect the party to now go against. You are the one who went to court. So if you go to court and you are now suffering the consequence of your action, you cannot go about blaming people.
So evidently, the grazing reserve, the grazing routes of about 40-30 years ago can no longer be as it was. So we are saying that what obtained about 60 years ago cannot ultimately obtain now. So with respect to grazing routes, as a matter of fact, we're in a modern civilization. Modern civilization does not really give room for somebody taking cattle from the north down to the Port. Effort must be made. These boys that are taking these cattle, they should go to school. In fact, when you look at pastoral nomadism, it's one that took place about 200 years ago. There's no civilized world today you find people following cattle.
I was thinking by now some serious reforms would have been going on in the police force, especially after the NSAS bitter experience we had. I was thinking the federal government would have learned its lessons and begin to see how we go straight into police reforms. It's a great deal of reform required in the national security sector, especially with the police. I don't see any serious reforms going on. Where I would have said maybe a lot of money is going on into training, this, that, and so on. No. In nearly every state, where today we have the military complementing the effort of the police on ground. We know how much state governments are spending, and that is why some of the governors are saying, allow us to have our own police force. And then this money, this entire monies we are pumping in the various state levels, will go into our own police. The federal government could lay out the guidelines. We're not saying give them a free hand. Our politicians are not as mature as that. Governors, they are like children, they are like little children.
The NSAS protest that took place around October of last year was one of the best things to have happened to this country.
The best.
Yeah, one of the best, in fact the finest, it's a phenomenon, it's an event that the police ought to have seized upon to begin some kind of internal cleansing mechanisms. But unfortunately, because of the fact that a lot of reactionary elements are embedded in the federal government, a lot of armed talks were smuggled in, were brought in that infiltrated that very wonderful protest that even happened for up to 4 days without any violent incident before imported foreign talks. When I say foreign, I don't mean non-Nigerians. I mean people who were brought in from different parts of the country. A lot of them were brought in from Kano into Abuja. And Nigerians, some of us who were at the protest, we saw the way some SUVs, brand new SUVs, were actually driving these armed talks to the centers of this protest to interrupt the protest and to begin to kill, attack, protesters. So the event itself is in fact, it's the first time in the history of this country that you have a largest number of youths come out to say we are denouncing the modus operandi of the Nigerian police force that have been in place for ages. Issue of police brutality, issues of extrajudicial killings, the issues of extortion, and unfortunately, that event that happened, it seems no lessons have been learned because so many of those manifestations of illegalities by the police are still going on because the event has come and gone. Nigerians need to learn a lot of positive lessons. We need to begin to have some kind of constructive partnership between the civil society and the police in its practical applications. We need to clean up the police. The policing mechanisms in Nigeria is very much outdated. The police they seem to be operating in the kind of mindset that they had when they were set up by the colonialists, when they were set up to service the colonial masters and not to serve the interest of the collective, the interest of the Nigerian citizens.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.